I need new music.
This is the JJO Discover New Music Podcast.
I wish I hated you, and after all this, you should hate me.
Joining me today from the band From Ashes to New, Mr. Matt Brandyberry. Matt, how are you, my friend?
Good. How you feeling?
I'm good, man. Doing all right. I appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time. The fourth album, your senior album, if you will, Blackout. I ask this to a lot of people because, especially now with you guys 4 albums in, obviously a lot of time in the studio under your belt, a lot of time on the road under your belt, a lot of time producing, writing, recording. What maybe stood out with this fourth album compared to some previous works like Panic or your earlier stuff?
Well, I mean, we'd like to call this our third record, actually, because this is the third record with Danny and Maddie in the band. So, most people know we went through a change back in 2016. Mm-hmm. So this is our third record, and we like to believe that most bands get gigantic after their third record. So that's where we're at. But, we had a particular style before we had to switch up. And, I did a bulk of the writing then, but then we kind of experimented a little bit on a couple records to kind of see where we were as the new lineup. Mm-hmm. And we realized that we hadn't changed from the heavier roots that we had come from. So that's what we wanted to do with this record. And what we noticed that we not only wanted to do, but needed to do, we needed to go back to the band that we always were. We weren't short of any ammunition when it came to 2020 and 2021 and being angry and full of angst. So that definitely played into helping us create what we know is our best material yet.
So, okay, third album, as far as what you look at for the band, and after that transition there in 2016 and beyond, you had you had very good success with the first 2 albums, and then obviously 2020 hit during Panic, and when that was released, and everything changed. Was there kind of a reset in the band? Was there maybe a transition as how you approached this one? I know you picked kind of the sound, you kind of got into that, but after 2020 and kind of having to deal with all that, and then coming to this one, how did that affect the making of this album, Blackout?
Yeah, I mean, speaking just for us, and I'm sure that this probably impacted tons of artists across the world, like you realize that it could be over like that. We were on tour with Skillet at the time when everything happened, and 2 weeks, that's what we heard, huh? 2 weeks, we're like, oh man, cool, we get 2 weeks off. This is going to be dope. And then, of course, it turned into almost 2 years. And you realize in that process how quickly things can be taken away from you. So I think that during some of the earlier works, when we kind of started to, I don't want to say lose ourselves, but when we started to kind of feed into what the system was asking from us, we didn't realize that we weren't as genuine as we could be. And I think that was the most important part, was learning that being genuine to who you are as an artist and a writer, and not listening so much to outside noise and influence and like, you should write this way, or you should create something this way and do it this way. Like, we're like, you know what? Like, who knows what's going to happen? Because when we started writing this record, Blackout, we were still shut down. Everything was, at a standstill. So when we started writing it, we were just writing it because we loved writing. And, I always say music is a thing that we all hear. We audibly listen to it, but the real music is the stuff that people connect to. And, if you're not connecting to your own art, nobody else will. And we've connected to this more than we've ever connected to anything that we've written.
You said a word in there, which I think is interesting, and I kind of want to build off of that. You said being genuine and ignoring that outside noise. Did that almost make this album easier for you, being able to just really say, this is what we want to do? This is us. This is From Ashes to New. Did that maybe take some of that pressure off, outside of still wanting to put together a good record and do all the work with it? Did that maybe kind of take some of that pressure off?
Yeah, full transparency, when you go into an album and you're on a record label and you do all that stuff, like, you've got to cater to different things. Like, there's not, and I'm not the first artist to say this, it's not just going in and creating what you want to create. There's different people and different players involved that are like, oh, well, I need a song that sounds like this, or I want a song that sounds like this. And it's like, that does add a lot of extra pressure, because then all of a sudden you're in a box writing to try and hit a nail on the head, and the nail is very, very, very small, and you don't know, even if you hit it, if it's going to be the nail that holds it all together. So right. So, yeah, I mean, it does help, right? Because the first record that I was ever a part of creating, I never went into it with anything other than, man, I really want to create some music. This is going to be sick. And that's what we did here. But also keeping in mind, when we're creating something new, that we've got to love it. We can't be jaded on it before it already gets released. So
That's a very interesting take. I love that, man. You know, it's almost like sin first, ask for forgiveness later. Let's do what we want to do, and then, you know, we'll fix it or do what we got to do afterwards. I love that, man. And
yeah, dude, you know, the big inspiration on that is Korn.
Yeah.
And you know, in Take a Look in the Mirror, they came out with the Y'all Want a Single. And it was like, you know, they kept getting told over and over and over again, yeah, this is great. It's really heavy, but we need a single.
Right.
And, you know, y'all want a single say that. You know what I mean? Like,
well, it's nothing wrong with taking a note out of Korn's playbook. I think you're doing so. You got good stock there to go from. Do you got a favorite track on the new album? Maybe one that really speaks to you, one that stands out to you?
You know, normally when we create records, I can be like, yeah, of course, like this is my favorite track, but this one's got so many for so many different vibes, so many different moods. I'm doing so many different new things that I haven't done before. Stepped up my game with a lot of other things that I have done before. So Heartache's been out for a while. That was one of my favorite tracks. Monster and Me, that's on the record, hasn't been released. That's some of my best work that I've ever done. But I mean, I can go down the list all day long for different reasons. Echoes is a very emotional song about the current state of the world, you know, things like that. So I mean, like each song has its place on this record. I don't think that there are any that aren't in my favorite list. So the whole record's my favorite. It's just one. I think it's one composition, man. Like I think it's just one piece.
I love it. Well, I know that's always a tough question, but I love to see as you dive in and really start to pick apart the songs. You mentioned there, you know, really, really challenging yourself and pushing yourself and reaching new heights, new levels. How did you push yourself in this record? What'd you do personally that really helped this record kind of take you maybe to that next level?
When I started rapping for this, so I played guitar in local bands forever. That's what I did. And I rapped when I was younger, but God, I was awful. I was terrible.
We all were, don't worry.
Right. So like when I first started rapping for this band, I was just writing. Like I wasn't trying to pick like a style, but going back and listening to our earlier stuff, I realized that almost everything was the same style, just to a different, you know, BPM. So then as I progressed, I started trying to figure out different ways to do things. On this record, I have influences, of course, right? And I wanted to be as good as my influences because I listened to like my influences. I'm like, damn, these guys are good. So I would listen to a lot of their stuff and kind of like decipher how they were doing different things and different flows and putting things together. But not only that, because not only are their flows and their cadence is incredible, their tone's incredible, and then their lyrical content's incredible, and that's what makes them incredible artists. So, you know, I guess before, like, I don't want to say that I never really tried, but I was just kind of whatever came out and ended up on paper is what I used. This time I actually sat back and really dissected what I did. And, you know, there were points where I would write entire songs and I would just delete everything that I did and then start all over. Did that a few times for this record, and I think that I really pushed myself into a place that I'd never been before.
Fair to say maybe that kind of next maturity and confidence from the band as you continue to grow, especially with the current lineup and where you guys are at?
I really do believe so. I think that you know, it takes time, right, for the chemistry to build and for everyone to be comfortable in a studio setting and really kind of understand what each individual person is trying to do. You know, a lot of bands that are really successful have one guy, right? They have like one guy kind of does everything, and then the band just comes in, and we've taken that into consideration, and we've looked at that and noticed these bands and said, okay, they've got this one guy, but if we could be four guys that are all on the same page, that are all going towards the one common goal, we can be 4 times better than that one guy. Yeah. So that's kind of what we did is like we took our egos out, we took a step back, and we said, what are we doing? What are we here for? What is our style? What is this band? And how can we be the best possible versions of that? And then we stepped back in, and then we created what we created.
I wish I had you.
Listen, rate, share, subscribe. Discover new music now at WJJO.com, in the JJO app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Rock has a new interview every Thursday evening between 6 and 7. 94.1 JJO.
I need new music.
This is the JJO Discover New Music Podcast.
Look looks like you're on a bus. Are you guys out on the road right now? What do you got going on?
Dude, we are on this old 1990s bus right now. So last tour we were on a 14X3, man, and this one we're on a 96XL because all of the we got it late. All the bus stock was sold out. They showed us this one, and we're like, well, it certainly is nostalgic. So yeah. So I'm reliving my childhood out here right now, man. This is
is that a VCR player behind you? It kind of looked
like I bet it was at one point, though. It is a receiver, though, which is quite ancient as well. So
right, exactly.
But here, I actually tried to crop it out, but since we're talking about it, I'll show you anyway. So we got the old clock up here.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
Hold on. There we go.
Oh, is that a corded wall phone? Oh, my God. That is unbelievable.
Yeah, man. So, but what's next is, we're out with Motionless and In This Moment right now. The tour is incredible. As From Ashes to New, we've always kind of straddled the line, right? We did the last tour with Shine Down and 3 Days Grace. Now we're out within this moment, Motionless and White. So, but I think that the fans in these areas that didn't know who we are or weren't familiar with our music or our live show are going, oh, okay. Like, I get this. This is what's up. And we're seeing that in merch and streaming and on socials and things like that. And then we're trying to work on a headliner for the fall. I'll just put that out there. It's tough, though. Everything is really busy. So we're working on that. Obviously, the record comes out. And I just found out. So my son is 15. Okay. And I just found out that I'm going to be a dad again. So that's what's next for me.
Wow. Congratulations. Yeah. Wow.
Thanks, man. Cheers.
That's awesome.
Starting all over, baby. Here we go.
You got a built-in babysitter, right, with the 15-year-old. So there you go.
That's it, man. That's it. And my mom, she's like in her early 70s, and she loves children. So she's like over the moon right now. She's like, I'm going to babysit. I'm babysitting. She's like signing herself up already. Where's that sheet? I got to clock in.
Ready to go. Well, that's and do you know what it is yet? Do you know, boy, girl?
No, it's very early, but I guess she's taking the test. So, she at first she was saying that she wanted to do a gender reveal with our dogs eating like cupcakes or something. I don't know. And I was like, all right, whatever you want to do, if that's what you want to do, I don't care. Like, I'll be a part of it. Sure.
Right. You know what? You're carrying the baby. My work was done. It took 30 seconds. So I'll let you do whatever you want after the fact. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, we're going to find out. It's exciting though, man. Cause like I'm in a different place in my life now. Like, when we had my son, we were young. We were babies. She was 21. I was 22. So like, we were really young, and I was still partying pretty hard in my 20s. And now that I'm in my 30s, and it's like, it's a lot different. And we're excited. Kind of scared. I don't think that goes away, but we're excited. So that's the next thing in my life.
Well, good. So record tour, baby, and also teaching a kid how to drive. You got that in there too. So
oh yeah, he's a good kid though. I think he's got it.
All right, good.
And he can play the drums really well, so I think he'd be able to drive.
Has he driven the 90s tour bus yet, or is he not qualified to drive that thing yet, or no?
He came on this thing, man. He sees the buses. Like, I love showing him like what we do, right?
Right.
And, he came on this thing when we got it, and he's like, "You're gonna live in this for a couple months." I was like, "Tell me you're spoiled without telling me." Exactly. You're not even on a tour bus, and you're like, "Dad, you're gonna live in this thing? Come on."
He's dogging your tour bus. I love it.
Oh yeah, and he asked me like 2 weeks in, dude. He's like, "How's that tour bus, Dad?"
None of your business, son. That's what I.
Yeah. You want to come out for a week? It is summer.
Oh man, well, I love it. Well, Matt, it's been so great catching up with you, and congratulations on all of the news. Before I let you go, though, we got to do rapid fire and learn a little bit more about you. Sound good?
Let's do it, man.
I'll start off with a couple easy ones. Vanilla Ice or Ice Cube?
Ice Cube.
Tupac or Biggie?
Tupac.
Nelly or Chingy?
Oh, Nelly all day long.
I love that, dude. Country Grammar, such a great record.
Oh, dude, that defined a very large portion of my teenage years, for sure.
Me too. All right, Choco Taco or Flintstone Push Pop?
Oh, Choco Taco, I miss him.
Attaboy. Soaked jeans or damp socks?
Ooh, soaked jeans.
Would you rather see Bigfoot or El Chupacabra?
El Chupacabra, gnarly.
Yeah. Would you rather fight a man with bear arms or a bear with man arms?
Ooh. I'm taking the man with bear arms because I still feel like I can knock him out.
Yeah.
Yeah. The bear, man, the thing's got me all day. Doesn't matter what kind of arms it's got.
And you give a bear opposable thumbs. Like I think that's dangerous. That's apex predator right there. That's the most dangerous animal.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Thank you for humoring me, Matt. More importantly, thank you for taking the time again from ashes to new, the new album Blackout out the 28th, mark it down and then go see him on the road and just enjoy it. Glad to have it. Matt, thanks again, brother. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
I wish I had you, and after all this, you should hate.
Listen, rate, share, subscribe. Discover new music now at WJJO.com, in the JJO app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Rock has a new interview every Thursday evening between 6 and 7. 94.1 JJO.
You should hate me.